welcome along, welcome back, wherever it is. Nigel with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench, and here we are now with part 4 of the build of this beauty. This is the Airscale Pro Boulton Defiant Mk.1 in 1/32 scale, and it's completely 3D printed. So if you want to find more out about it, there'll be a link in the description down below this video. Go and have a look and get yourself one if it hasn't sold out yet. It might have sold out yet, but as you can see, it will sit lovely next to your old Revell Junkers 88, wouldn't it? So this is basically from, I think it's 1940 time. I'm sure it's 1940, but yeah, very early aircraft, and quite how the turret gunner was supposed to aim his guns while the plane was dodging guns, I don't know how. But because, you know, you get in a Lancaster or something, it's going to be slowish, you know, sweeping movements, but this is going to be, I don't know how the guy ever kept up. But anyway, so there we go, got the box out of the way. The kit actually comes in this beautiful box here. This is absolutely gorgeous and very, very strong. So the kit is well protected, and all of the parts come on these beautiful little boxes of 3D printed gorgeousness. Have a look here yourself. There we go. You can see there's all the parts in there, all protected in that beautiful box. I've done a full review of the kit. Something I have noticed on this one, if you watch Zinzan's channel, he's currently doing the Airscale Miles M52, and on his the gate connection points are extremely thick, whereas on this one they're not. They're very, very thin. You can see here how thin they are on this rear cover. You can see in there. So if you watch Zinzan's video and you just watch him struggling with a knife to cut away the points, and I'll show you just how easy it is on this one. You know, I've gone through that one there, and you can see that Zinzan was kind of almost sawing at them, but rather they're actually quite thick on that kit. But it could be because of the material used, it could be because of the machine used, it could be because they need so much, you know, support in that area. A million different reasons. I know nothing about it, so it's not for me to comment. But anyway, so what we did in part 3, we went on and did the instrument panel, and you can see that's here. I haven't glued the blind panel in yet, it's just placed in there. But you can see we've got decals on here. So we've got a decal up here, we've got a decal over here, we've got a decal down here, and we've got a decal on the compass. I actually messed up on the compass, so I've had to use, believe it or not, an Airscale decal. So Airscale are well known for all their instrument panel decals and everything. So that compass is actually slightly larger than one that comes in the kit. So I think it looks great, looks fine. So there we are. So I've got to put a blob of clear on that top gauge there to make it look reflective, and also on the compass. So there we are. So that's that. The little side box on here, this has no decals or anything on it, but these tubes appear to be aluminium, so I've painted those in aluminium. You can see that there. Okay. Then we got this, I'm assuming it's a transmitter or something. It is a transmitter, isn't it, at the back. That's been painted in rubber black, and then the actual sides, you've got the green, the interior green clamps on the bottom. It's actually strapped down with white bungees, so I've kind of tried to make them look, and when we've got a wash on there, it's going to make them look sort of more hollow. What I should have done is gone in and just scraped in behind them to sort of give them a bit of depth. And then here we've got the throttle quadrant. So I had a look at some references, and it looks like these 3 knobs here were brown, these 3 knobs here were black, and that big one on the top was white. So that's done. That'll get a wash as well. We've got the seat here. The handle on the side is black on one of the pictures I saw, so I painted it black. And then we've got the actual little brake lever there on the control column. You can see we've got the padding around there, the aluminium casting on the top of the control column, and that's that. So that'll get a bit of weathering and everything. And then here we've got the bulkhead assembly. So you can see the bulkhead assembly there. We've got the decal there on the levers. And then here we've got don't worry about the shininess. I've gloss coated it ready for the wash. If you don't gloss coat before a wash, especially if you use Tamiya XF matte paint, the wash sort of soaks into the paint, and it doesn't look authentic. It doesn't highlight the details you want to highlight. It just sort of soaks in and makes the whole thing into a bit of a mess. And then here we've got these are the rams that bring down this roof so that the turret can do 360. So I've done those in chrome, and then we've got the black on the bottom, and again you can see it's all glossy. It's going to get a flat coat. I've used my go-to gloss, which is Tamiya LP9. The VMS varnishes are absolutely amazing, but I just cannot get on with the gloss one, and I'm not the only one. There's other people saying the same, but the satin and the matte are absolutely incredible. So here we've got the side panel here, a little knob there painted black. I can't see anything else painted on here, but we got all that detail in there, and again that's gloss coated. Don't forget this window is masked, and then we've got the other side done here again with that lever painted in black. I'll probably go in with a bit of dry brushing after the wash and everything to sort of sparkle things up a little bit. And then finally we've got this panel here which goes in on the starboard side, and you can see that one's got a gauge on the top there, which again will get a gloss after it's been overcoated. And then here we've got the little stencils. What I did, I put these decals on with Set and Sol, Micro Set and Micro Sol, and then went over after with Micro Sol, and you can see they've gone down beautifully. Okay, that hasn't had a gloss coat. The instrument panel obviously hasn't had a gloss coat. None of the small panels have had a gloss coat. All that's had a gloss coat is anything that's painted green. So what I want to do now is give this a bit of a wash. So what I'm going to do is experiment in this area first here, which will be less visible. So I've got my Modeller's World oil wash, which is currently unavailable in the UK. It may come back. You can get it direct from Poland on eBay and everything. This one is Industrial Dirt. And I really like these washes because they go down beautifully, they dry matte, and they don't smell. So just going to see how this goes on. You can see here what's happening. The wash is building up in the corners. If I put more on, it will run down and it will highlight the, I can actually brush it out, and it will highlight those ribs to make them pop a bit more, because remember, you look down in the cockpit, it's just going to be green, so we want to try and make it look a bit more interesting. The other beauty of this wash is you can go in afterwards with a cotton bud and remove it and really make it look authentic. So I'm quite liking the way that's gone down, so we're going to put some more on there, okay? And then all I'm going to do is just brush some down there, like so. I'm going to brush some down the middle there, and hopefully this wash will start to do its thing and capillary along the joins. It doesn't seem to want to. Maybe the surface is just too rough for it. So what I'm going to do is just brush it all over. Okay, now this is the beauty of the clear coat, because if I hadn't done this, this area here is going to be practically invisible. If I hadn't done the gloss coat, then this would now just be staining that green paint. Alright, so we can come down here, we'll go down there, hopefully it'll all run around. Just like so. There you are, you can see. And then up in here, we can really make all that detail in there pop. We've got some nuts and bolts and things going on in there. We've also got a decal in there. So there we are. So have a good look at that, and as you can see, it's, you know, it's really sort of over the top. It's way too dark. I'm going to put some up in there as well. So you can see it's really way too dark, but don't worry about that, we'll sort that in a minute. So I'm going to carry on and do everything else. When it comes to the, I didn't show you this, did I, the floor attached with blue tack to this piece of wood, which gets used for everything. I'm going to come along and I'm just going to put some wash around these rivets, down this central strip here, across there with the rivets surrounded by a wash, and then the dry brushing picking up on the rivets. I'll probably give it a very light dry brush of some silver, just to sort of make it all look a bit mechanical. And I'll probably do some silver scuffing on the on the pedals as well. I don't want to go to town with this. It's not going to be, you know, really beaten up and heavily weathered. It'll just be used. And it's going to be completely out of the box. Okay, so there we go. So that's there. I've got to paint those straps over there. I think they're leather. I'll have to paint those afterwards. You can see that wash is just making all the details. You can see already the rivets are starting to stand out. There we go. Detail in this thing is absolutely phenomenal. It's really, really good. Okay, so I'm going to carry on, do the rest. I'll do the seat, I'll do the bulkhead, I'll do the other fuselage side, and then I'll come back after it's dry and show you how it looks. Okay, so after about half an hour, you see I've gone over this one. You can see this is how it originally was with the oils, and this one is after it's wiped off. So all I'm going to do is take a cotton bud and just literally wipe over. And as you can see, it will remove most of the oils from the raised areas, and it will just leave, you can see we've got, like, when we look into the cockpit, we'll have like a shadowing effect. Now if you don't like it and it's a bit too dark, you can come in with a cotton bud soaked in a bit of odourless thinners, and that will remove more. And that is the beauty of using the LP9 clear. It's tough as old boots, so it will take all the rubbing and the enamel thinners and everything, no problem at all. There we go. Just like so. Easy as that. Okay, and if, as I say, if you want to remove a bit more, I'm just going to take a drop of odourless thinners. I get this on Amazon. Pabeo, is that Pabeo? I use odourless, one because it doesn't smell, and two because it's not too hot. Some like witch spirit and that can be a little bit too much. But if you go over with this, you can see it will remove more. Okay, but it will also reinvigorate what's already there, and it will kind of start to do its capillary thing again. Right, so you can see the difference there. That is a lot more subtle than that one. Okay, so I'll do the same on this one just to match them up. And you can see, as well as taking it off, it's also, like I say, moving it around to reinvigorate certain areas. And then what you can do is squash the end down so it gets into a corner for you. Just like so. Alright, and you can see I've done the same. Let's do the seat, because that bulkhead's a bit wonky on that stick. I can do the seat the same, use a dry one. Just remove the excess, and then of course we'll do some little bit of aluminium chipping or something on the seat. We've got to do the seatbelt shit as well, haven't we? Okay, and it's just giving it that sort of dirty, used look. I find if you don't do this, it all looks a little bit too clean and hospital operating theatre like. I want it a little bit dirty and grimy. Come in with the wet one. That's another advantage with this 3D printed. This is ABS, so it's pretty strong. But if this was plastic, it would be made up of a multitude of parts, and it would be quite fragile. And also, when you start putting washes on it, it can get into the glue joints and start to, you know, attack the cemented joint especially with things like Bandai kits it can attack. You need to be very careful if you've done multi-link tracks, you know, link by link tracks that glue together. If you go in with heavy washes, you can actually dissolve the glue joints and they'll just fall apart on you. Ask me how I know. So on tracks I tend to use Lotor fluid now rather than Lotor fluid and oil paint rather than oil washes and stuff, because it's so gentle. So once again we can wipe over on here. Just like so. And again, this is one solid piece of resin. It's a lot stronger than if it was a multi-part piece of plastic. So it's less fun for the builders because all this. I'm dealing whole with like 6 or 8 parts here. It's incredible with all this detail. Whereas if it was plastic, this would be probably 50 or 60 parts. And to be fair, the detail probably wouldn't be as crisp. There we are, you can see how lovely that bulkhead looks. Ignore the layer lines you can see here. The only reason you can see them is because it's glossed. Once it's matte coated you won't see them, and it gets covered by the seat anyway. And there we go, and until you actually come in and give it another coat, like if I gave it a flat coat now, obviously I wouldn't be able to do anything as far as removing the wash goes. But as long as I just get a clean cotton bud. As long as I don't put a clear coat on, I can work with this for days and days and days. Well, probably years with the odorless thinners. You can see all that detail there popping out. It's lovely, isn't it? That's lovely. Really, really nice. Beautifully detailed parts. And from what I can see from all the references, like these knobs down here and everything are still green. If you know different, please let me know before I close the fuselage up. Okay. So there we go. So that seat is going to sit in here like that. I've got it a bit off center, I think, but hopefully you get the idea. See how lovely it's all looking now it's painted and washed and everything. It's all looking really, really lovely. Now that transmitter, it sits in the back. I've gone over those cables with a wash so we can get the excess off of those. I'm going to use some thinners on that. You can see this making that white pop back. And also the green on the bottom. There we go, there's our transmitter. So that's basically going to sit in there. I'm not going to put it in now because it's so difficult to get it in and out. I'm just going to put it in one more time with a drop of glue on it. And then finally this cockpit floor. I think we'll keep this one dry. You can see I can rub over here. Now, obviously of all the cockpit, the floor is probably going to be the dirtiest. There we go. I think I'm going to use a little bit of the damp. There we go. So you can see what's happened there. That detail has really popped. And then once we give it a little dry brush, where's my dry brushing brush? Just going to check it on the wood here. Yeah, it's really, really pale. If I give that a very, very gentle dry brush, just so it just picks up, you can see now how that is making that really pop. You've got to remember, it may not be authentic to have an aluminium coloured dry brushing down here, but when it's down in the bottom of the cockpit, this dry brushing will become very subtle. You'll hardly see it. We can do the same down here on the bottom of these ribs, just so that that doesn't look too garish. So you can see now this is going to sit on here like that. There's a couple of pegs that go in. So you can see that basically there, with 1, 2, 3 parts, that is. So you can see how that cockpit's looking with just 3 parts of resin, a bit of silver, a bit of black, a bit of chrome paint, that's it. And the green obviously. So yeah, once we get the belts in, it's really going to pop. So I'm going to call it a day there because I haven't done a video on this for quite a while and I wanted to get something out there for you. So I'm going to call it a day for this one because I want to ask you a question. If you're building one of these, or if you've been doing your research, do I need more colour? Are the, should these knobs here be a different colour or something? I don't like looking at the restored aircraft that's down at is it Hendon or is it Cosford? It's Cosford, isn't it? I don't want to look at that one because it's restored, so you just don't know what's gone on with that one. But what I'd like to do is get some info off somebody who really knows what they're talking about. So if you know, please let me know. So there we are. One more look at that. And I think we'll have another look at that instrument panel as well because that's beautiful. I love the Airscale acetate glazing, it just looks so authentic. A little bit of red on there, red knob, a little bit of grey around the compass, just to sort of add to it a bit. And there we are, and our throttle quadrants, as you can see there. See how they're going to look when they're in there. You can see it's all going to pop beautifully. Right, so I'm going to call that a day for part 4. Sorry that's been a short one, but I'm not getting much chance to do modelling because of the heat. And as you know, I've got my Fiat 131 channel, so I'm also working on that, hoping to get the engine back together for driving a few weeks of what summer we might have left. So I will see you all very, very soon. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.